Global trade is complicated. There are a lot of issues that can come into play, and sometimes longtime friends and allies don't see eye to eye. I'm putting all of that very mildly. We're going to have a quick chat with Herbert today. We're going to be talking about critical minerals. We're going to be talking about trade barriers. We're going to be talking about a bunch of things, but mostly we're trying to figure out how desperate the situation is or how nothing the burger may taste. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So Herbert, before we get too excited here, I wanted to mention that the biggest news is that for the X takeover, I have a coupon code for you guys. It is Futuraza. It is the name of my channel. You spell it just like this, and that's how you get your 10% off tickets if you wish to join us in Alameda. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think you are entered into a drawing to get a Fremont factory tour or a Megapack Lathrop tour. So that is all the more reason to get your tickets now. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, thousands of people show up at this. It's like one of the greatest events ever. You're presenting there. I'm also part of Cyberbulls. We'll be presenting there as well.
It's a lot of fun, and we get to hang out with people we know and love. And especially if you're a subscriber, pretty please subscribe. YouTube is once again on that tear where they just unsubscribe people. So if you think you're subscribed, double check because you might not be. Very crazy stuff. A stunning number of electric vehicle and battery factories are being canceled. Now, I covered this in one of my Patreon exclusives the day it broke, but I didn't have time to get it together into a thesis. This is concerning. This isn't Tesla factories. Those are still moving forward. But a lot of factories, if you look at this chart here, we'll see 8 billion of factories has been canceled in the last quarter in terms of battery production, in terms of electric vehicle production, including a $1 billion factory in Georgia that would have made thermal barriers for batteries and a 1.2 billion lithium-ion battery factory in Arizona. There's just too much uncertainty. It's hard at the moment to be a manufacturer in the US given uncertainties on tariffs, tax credits, and regulation. Hundreds of millions of dollars in additional investments appear to be stalled but haven't been formally canceled yet. Nothing is more important to business than market clarity. It's about as clear as a blizzard at midnight. So if you were looking to build a battery factory, would you be hesitant right now?
Oh yeah, of course. That makes sense. But also I want to question whether or not that was the real reason. I mean, the car makers, they were trying very hard to try to make a profitable electric vehicle, and they've not been able to do that. And so now they're coming up with excuses why they're delaying, building these batteries, building these factories, and they'll say, yeah, it's because of the environment. And the reality is, electric vehicles are here to stay. It's only 10% here in the US, but if very likely will follow what's happening in Europe and in China and many other countries where it gets up past 50%. This is the year that in China, at this point now, more than 50% of all new cars sold is what they call new electric vehicles, which includes battery electric vehicles and hybrids. So that's going to happen here. There's no doubt about that at this point. Electric vehicles are just better vehicles in general, and there's no stopping it. So why would if you want to invest for the future, you should be making batteries, electric vehicle batteries. You should be making electric vehicle cars. So, this is something that we saw all of last year. Lots of, delays and change in plans, and they're in big trouble now. So, yeah, of course, it's always going to be a terrible time. Are we heading into a recession? Are we not heading into a recession? All these things are coming up. So,
well, you remember the reason Ford wanted to back down on their ambitious EV goals was not because of trade uncertainty or tariffs, or it was because people don't want them.
That's what
people don't want to buy electric vehicles. Asterisk. And the asterisk was the ones we make at the prices at which we are selling them. You do see some pretty crazy things in here. Costly mandated EVs make poor people poorer and less safe. Mr. Furchtgottroth can print that out onto a little piece of paper, roll it up into a tube, and place it wherever it conveniently fits. I would disagree with that entirely. Certainly buying a big long-range Silverado or Hummer or Cadillac Escaladic would definitely set you back. But that's not what we're talking about. There are other projects were closed by EV makers facing tough headwinds. Nikola and Canoe. I mean, those aren't tariff related. Those have nothing to do with that. Before the closures, the U.S. was on track for producing almost all the batteries needed by 2030, and now we're not. But we're seeing a lot of shifts.
This is a big deal, and it's an important one because it's so short-sighted. But it's unfortunate if you can't get the private industry to invest in this. It's a crisis. You need to have the government, United States, step up to support this, and they have, right? They've got these incentives that they were trying to do for battery, but that seems to have not manufacturing here in the U.S. hasn't happened. This is a critical economic warfare. China is building batteries. They're supporting the supply chain. Despite their economic turmoil that they're going through, the government is supporting it. And there's a reason, right? Electric batteries, battery electric vehicles, battery in themselves are so critical for AI data warehouses. Now, you and I did a show one time on your channel where you pointed out the massive growth of AI data centers, the massive need for batteries. And it's like the new oil. I mean, that's really is the truth, right? Energy generation, energy storage, both stationary and mobile, is critical for economic, prosperity. So it's a national security issue at this point, honestly.
It really is. China just turned off U.S. supplies of minerals critical for defense and clean tech. Most of the world was clutching their pearls over trade war, tit for tat tariffs. China calmly walked over to the supply chain and yanked out a handful of critical bolts: dysprosium, terbium, tungsten, indium, yttrium. These elements don't make headlines, but without which your electric car doesn't run, your fighter jet doesn't fly, your solar panels don't go from clean energy marvels to overpriced roofing tiles. This is an interesting lever that I don't believe the policymakers understood was able to be pulled. Yeah, this is a weird one.
I hope that they knew this. Obviously, this has been decades in the making. I think the average person, don't we all know that what's been happening over the decades is China has been buying all the critical mines in South Africa, in Africa. They've been buying them. They own them. So they knew that critical minerals is the critical bottleneck, and they knew that electric batteries is going to become an issue, are a big need in the next 10 years, and it happened. That's where we're at. So now, again, mining.
Yeah. The materials China has restricted aren't random. They're chosen with precision. The precision of someone who's read U.S. product spec sheets and defense procurement orders. Start with dysprosium if your electric motor needs to function at high temperatures, and they all do. Then mostly it is using neodymium magnets doped with dysprosium. No dysprosium, no thermal stability, no functioning in your F-35 or Mach-E. China controls essentially the entire supply of it. And no, there's no magical mine in Wyoming or Quebec waiting in the wings. If it doesn't come out of China, it doesn't come out at all. It's the spinal cord of electrification. So this is a little scary, a little unfortunate. I don't know if there is a solution, and if there is, I certainly don't know what it is. But this is something we need to be aware of when we're cheering for trade wars. I'm not cheering for trade wars. I don't do that, but I've seen a number of people look at some of the graphs and say, yeah, this seems very unfair. But I don't think a graph is capable of conveying the underlying importance and nuance of it all. And I'm putting that mildly because of course it isn't. How could it? Another thing is, if you guys aren't watching Herbert's channel, you should, because we had a great show where we discussed in depth the whole situation with the comments made by, I think, a sack of bricks is who made the comments. Trump advisor Navarro dismisses Tesla's Musk as a car assembler after tariff comments. And Elon responded, calling him both a moron and a moron who is dumber than a sack of bricks. And please, no offense to the sacks of bricks watching this. He's saying that you are still smarter than Peter Navarro. Many Tesla parts come from Japan, mainland China, and Taiwan. Well, no, he didn't say many parts. He named specific parts about which he was mistaken. He said the batteries and motors.
Yeah.
Where are the batteries from again? Now, you drive a Model 3. Where'd your battery come from?
You tell me. You know better. Nevada.
Nevada.
Yeah.
Your battery came from Nevada. And there are a handful of cars Tesla has sold in the US that for a short time had Chinese-made LFPs. That didn't last long. It was a little narrow window in the trade situation where they were able to do it, but it has long since been closed. All the batteries come from Nevada, with some of the batteries, I guess, if you have a Cybertruck, coming from the foreign nation of Austin, Texas. It is the capital of that great country of Texas. Don't get Texans started. They have some strong opinions on whether or not they're actually the free state of Texas, but that's quite a different matter. There are parts in your car that are from China, but they're the bibs and bobs. They're a clip. They're I know on the SNX, I believe the wheels, the actual rims come from China. I've seen boxes at the Fremont factory that are labeled in Chinese on the SNX assembly line. I believe they were wheels. This is, I mean, just give us the high level overview on this to wrap us up.
I mean, it's obviously Peter Navarro was responding to Elon Musk because Elon is, and he's communicated that he's not in favor of tariffs. But Navarro has written a book on it, used a fake research guy, his own name, to say that his tariff policies is the right way to go. And so he's trying to make a point, right? He's saying that, look, even Tesla makes all their cars, they're just assembled. They need to buy these parts everywhere. We want them to build it here in the US, not buy it from other countries. So we're going to tariff the hell out of all those guys. Well, you chose the wrong target, dude. You could have picked any other car manufacturer and basically be true when you say that you're a car assembler, not a car manufacturer. Tesla is clearly a car manufacturer. Have you friggin' been to the factory? Have you figured out how vertically integrated they are? Like I think you pointed out that Tesla makes their own car seats. They make their own, batteries, right? Certainly there's going to be some parts, but that's if at what point does, do you become a car assembler versus a car manufacturer? At what point when you become a manufacturer? Well, you're a manufacturer when you're over 50%, maybe, if you're in like an 80, 90% situation, and that's where Tesla is. And so it's ridiculous to be called a car assembler.
Well, and are you not a car maker if you're Ford and own the plant in Canada that makes the motors,
right?
The engines? I'm not sure. I guess it all comes down to a matter of debate, but this one is pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
If Tesla does not make their own windshields, they buy them, but they buy them locally. They do not manufacture their own semiconductor chips, but they import them from Taiwan. Well, that's because that's where the factory is. We would love to have the factory here. There are factories being constructed, even by TSMC in Arizona, but it's not done yet. We got to finish building it. This whole thing is a lot of fun. It's exciting. We wished to live in exciting times. We should have clarified with the genie about what there was. When I got my 3 wishes from the genie, my first wish was, I want 4 wishes. And the genie said, granted, you have 3 remaining. I should have thought it through. So guys, in the comments, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? What was your 3rd wish? The first one's not important. It's the last one that counts. And everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy. And I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots when the dust settles.